Psychiatry for a Mad World. An extract from the book. Recognizing the problem. Resistance. It is something of a cliché, but it is often said by therapists that the first step in healing a client is that the client has to recognize there is a problem. And here Dr. Zab is confronting Hugh with some of the problems which form part of the global catastrophic disorder. But when Hugh is presented with some facts, we see Hugh go into denial. Denial is a defense mechanism first postulated by Sigmund Freud, where a person faced with uncomfortable truths may flatly deny the facts, even in the light of overwhelming evidence. Freud's daughter, Anna, classified denial as a mechanism in an immature mind, presenting problems for learning and dealing with reality. And here, humanity's mind is as it was before therapy is really underway, immature. In studies of the grieving process, the late psychiatrist Elizabeth Kubler-Ross identified that people who were told they were going to die would go through different stages: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and finally acceptance. The stages do not always occur in every person, or may occur in a different order, but the first of the stages is sometimes denial. These same stages often apply to people who are going through therapeutic changes as well. Hugh is lost at sea, confused, but somewhere deeper in his psyche, where he feels the uncomfortable truths which Dr. Zab showed him, he has an inkling that this is going to be difficult for him, and he instinctively heads towards denial. Hugh still thinks or hopes that Dr. Zab is mistaken, but of course Zab's highly developed mental map can see the links between Hugh and the world. Zab knows Hugh is ill, and so he is not so easily deflected from his course, however strongly Hugh argues with him. Denial is one of the mechanisms which therapists group together under the term resistance. Again, the term was first introduced by Freud to describe an instinctive opposition to having unconscious material brought into the conscious mind. It can take many forms, but can manifest itself in the client criticizing the therapist, or failing to listen to or understand the therapist. The client may arrive late or miss appointments, may remain silent, may forget the fee, or the client may drag the discussion down into a debate on semantics or abstract philosophy. There is a myriad array of tactics which a typical client may use to avoid the therapeutic process. Resistance is such a powerful phenomenon that it is surprising that it is not discussed more often, not only in psychology books, but in any book which aims to make the world a better place. To some extent, resistance is so ubiquitous that it may be difficult to see. The thing which people are resistant to is truth. The resistance phenomenon is usually to defend our mental maps, which in turn is powered by our genetic makeup. We will learn more about the genetic causes of resistance in coming chapters. If it wasn't for psychological resistance, therapy could be completed in a matter of days or weeks, rather than months or years. Therapists have a stock piece of advice for their clients to try to dissolve some resistance, advice which is so valuable it has become another cliché. It is, you have to want to change. If the client doesn't want to change, then therapy cannot take place. What we see in Hugh's reaction to the unpleasant truths of the world is a typical response from ordinary people when confronted with those truths. People often don't want to change, which is why healing the world is such an enormous task. In our story, when Dr. Zab confronts Hugh with the realities of the GCD, the therapy is still in an early stage, and Hugh's mental map is still faulty. His neurons have never been programmed to see the link between his actions in his ordinary world in Great Yarmouth and global problems such as poverty or climate change. Remember that the mental map adapts slowly, so it will take time for Hugh to be able to see more clearly that there is a link between his actions and global problems. Getting humanity to acknowledge he has a problem is the first stage in fixing the world.